You guys getting a good feeling? Because I'm getting a good feeling.
It's a greenhouse.
I'm in finding the Titan production plant.
Just kind of pose there, reading.
Ah, you have an upgrade.
What do I want this time? I think it's twin batarang. Yes.
Yeah, bats.
What the hell was that thing?
No idea. He's here!
Oh, dear.
That's what I was going for. You didn't know about that trick?
Oh, no, the environmental kills? Yeah. I'm just saying, electricity, man. It's a big motif in this game.
Yeah. Does Batman actually have an electric-themed villain?
I'm trying to think. Not a big one. Maybe just because I have Amazing Spider-Man 2 stuck in my head. And Electro is a big, big deal in Spider-Man. He's one of the Sinister Six. Oop. Chasing this guy. Chasing. Wait, what is that statue? Oh, it's the Poseidon-y thing?
Yeah. Time to get some verticality. Didn't see that.
I really appreciate that guy didn't see that. Cause
Me too, because it means I can get him.
I would have been very surprised. Yes, the inverted takedown, the greatest of all the takedowns.
Weirdest weapon in the game that no way should work as well as it does. And as mad as I was they made it harder to use in sequential games, was kind of happy it wasn't the unbeatable powerhouse it was in this game.
Turn down after I kill the bat.
I think it is one of the most Batman-y things.
It is, but it's also one of the most game-breaking ones. And I will talk in detail about the inverted takedown when we get to the level that finally puts it so you can't use it as your main go-to technique. Which I was both super annoyed when I got to it and like, oh my god, thank god they understood this was a bit of a problem.
Man down! Don't let that never change!
Well, because I think just from a stylistic standpoint, if you think about the big three, the big three of DC, which is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Is she really a member of the big three though? At the end of the day, I know I'm going to piss you off by asking that.
No, yeah, they're the triad. I mean, it's not so much an issue of like, is she important and takes part in a lot of stuff? It's just that literally in terms of thinking about the heads of the Justice League, the ones that have cultural capital, it's Diana and Bruce and Clark. And it's true that in general, Batman and Superman get a lot more attention. However,
a lot more attention.
But the thing you have to remember is that Wonder Woman had her own TV series. She has a shit ton of merchandise.
That's true.
And I think that's really the way to think about it is in terms of merchandise. Like, it's true that, people who show up in the Justice League a lot that don't have a lot of merchandise are, Martian Manhunter and Hawkgirl and like...
Arguably the characters that deserve the most merchandise if you think about it.
I love Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
I could go around Martian Manhunter all day.
But sadly, there's no Martian Manhunter video game to play.
He is, however, in Lego Batman 2. So if you're into that, kids, get on that.
There might be a Hey Let's Play in the future.
It's kind of a glitchy game, but that's okay.
Yeah, all Lego games are inherently a tad glitchy, but that's
It's
neither here
true.
nor
Well, that's
there.
because I think as a child you expect children to just run around and try things until they find the solution.
Yes, most people, they're not intending for people of my age or skill level with video games to play the Lego games. I'm well aware of this.
But they're so funny.
They are so funny, but...
Yeah, so talking about the triad,
Yes.
The trio, the big three. Clark is very straightforward. Superman, comes at most threats with his eyes wide open from the front. Because he's a god, he can do that. Diana tends to come eyes front same way, but trying to negotiate because she is a negotiator. One of her superpowers is the ability to make peace
And make people not lie.
in the kinkiest way possible by tying them up. Bruce, however, is
Kind of mortal.
is very mortal, and so he has to use sneaky bat techniques. I mean, Batman's superpower, other than privilege, which that is his superpower, is having the technology, being really smart, and having the time to become Batman. His other superpower is competence, and having a moral compass that is both very clear but also not concerned about the rules of engagement. Batman, has a kryptonite ring just in case something happens with a Kryptonian.
Yeah.
And he's not, he knows that he doesn't want Clark to find out about it, but if Clark found out, he would sleep at night because
Please, cut me down.
because Clark should understand that this is important.
Yeah. Remember there being some other secret in here. Maybe that's later on. When you come back to this, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's when you come back. Never mind. So actually, before we move on and move away from Wonder Woman, because we have no reason to ever mention Wonder Woman again in this game, I actually have a funny story that's kind of relevant. A couple of you guys may remember a couple of years back, they changed Wonder Woman's outfit from the iconic one to one that, in my view, is a little bit more practical and made sense.
You mean the pants and motorcycle jacket?
Yeah, which I personally thought was a nice touch.
Stop this now, before it goes too far.
Stop. But everyone's dying. I do next.
Let him go.
Really? Okay. Say so, then. No! You really need to speed things, bats. At this rate, you'll catch me.
I like how they obviously show you the grate right there.
Yeah,
it's really nice of them.
It's a touch. Also, like I was saying, and I only actually heard that they were changing Wonder Woman's outfit, and I do not follow DC quite as much as I probably should, or especially given my love of Batman would make sense. But, right, this is why you go back. I only actually heard they were changing the outfit for Wonder Woman from a conservative talk show radio station, and they were outraged about how they were changing this iconic American.
But she has more clothes on.
Yeah, and that people kept calling in, and I think my favorite caller in basically said, "It's Wonder Woman, no one cares. We're all kind of happy to see her putting on pants."
Well, I mean, and here's the thing. I don't know if people have seen the new Wonder Woman Batman versus Superman outfit.
The Amazonian one?
The Amazonian one that came out at Comic-Con. But the thing about Diana that's always been sort of weird is that she is, she's like Clark. She doesn't bruise that well.
Yeah.
She's not bruised. She doesn't need to keep her shit covered. She needs is ease of motion. And part of the reasoning behind the motorcycle jacket and pants idea was that they basically retconned all of I guess we're gonna let this guy go. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Rescue the guy. Hey, friend.
Thanks. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I eat punks like these for breakfast.
The Batman humor.
The ones that weren't hitting me went over there and started doing something to the power controls. I have no idea what they were doing.
So, retconning stuff.
Yeah, so the idea was there have been a
I'll need to take.
There have been a bajillion versions of the Wonder Woman origin story. But what J. Michael Straczynski did was he wanted to sort of play with this idea of Themyscira, which is where all the Amazons live. Hippolyta, Diana's
Sure.
mother, and all her buddies. They
Power to the
the island falls before the origin story even really begins. So the idea is that Diana doesn't have that support system that she usually has. Usually she loses the support system some other way. Usually by supporting Steve Trevor.
You, the persistent one.
Patient interview.
Always. For I have an army of Titan monsters at my fingertips. Ooh, just imagine me being carried through the streets, stepping over the corpses of all those innocent citizens. It's going to be glorious, so I can't wait.
That moment of crazy brought to you by the Joker and nihilism.
And Mark Hamill. That's right, everybody. Luke Skywalker.
That actually is my favorite in some regards, kind of career after being stupidly famous moments.
Mark Hamill is a gift. Gotta love Mark Hamill.
This is true.
So
retconning Wonder Woman.
Retconning Wonder Woman. So the idea became it was partly about Diana finding who she was, finding her own strength.
Sure.
And that's the thing is that when you think that you're human, you can wear these outfits and it makes sense because you're protecting yourself.
Yeah.
That said, I mean, she's a Greek goddess. She's going to, or I guess a demigod to be more fair.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to wear pants. Unless she wants to. Diana can do whatever she wants.
Yeah, I just felt it. I enjoyed the sex appeal of Wonder Woman. It just was always kind of this is too much. This is where the line exists. The battle bikini is too much, guys.
Well, what's funny about her is that she's her creator was actually this sort of he was very into BDSM, which you immediately see when you read early Wonder Woman.
Doesn't her powers get lost when she gets tied up or something like that?
Yes, that is how that works. Which is interesting because the thing about Diana is that she's so strong that the only way to get her to get tied up is to put somebody innocent in danger, usually. So the idea becomes, no, don't hurt that person. Okay, fine, you can tie me up.
Sure.
And that's how she loses her powers. So I always think that's really empowering and cool because the idea is that, this woman is so strong, the only thing that can stop her is of her own free will.
That's a neat trick. You're right. That's a nice touch. So that's probably all we got on Wonder Woman. I kind of wish there was more not Marvel, DC crossover in this game than there ultimately is, and I wish they could make a good video game that wasn't just Batman, because I will never play the Superman video game ever again.
Again?
I had a Nintendo 64 once. It was Superman. I was excited. I was young and stupid.
Aww. Early cross-promotional games were sad.
Answer him!
Please. He's here!
Nice clean strike.
Well played. They even have the same tattoos. These poor janitors.
Yeah.
I feel real bad for these janitors.
Do I look okay?
Actually, yeah.
We were in the aviary hiding out, and they came in with Joker shooting up the place and loaded us into cages.
Are they still in there?
No, man. No one's come out since. You got to help them.
Stay here.
They got all my butt.
Gonna rescue some orderlies.
I gotta admit, like, the one issue I got with this game, and it's a dumb issue to have with this game, is how relatively okay some people actually seem to be. Like, he made a big stink of, like, do I look okay? Yeah, you kind of do.
No, but his body language is, I mean, I think that's the thing, is the actual skin design does not indicate any harm, but the body language is very traumatized.
Maybe.
It's like they did some good, I think they did some good capture on that.
Maybe.
Good job, mocap actors. I like
do think
you.
this was during the time before, like, mocap was a thing you did for everything, if that makes any sense.
This thing!
Listen, the bat is on the way. If you see him, send the annoying doctors to hell. That's the down one, right?
Yeah, they're going down.
Good. And remember, if you hear a collar go off, Batman's here.
Joker's men are all wearing the security collars. I'll need to take out the operator first.
So my favorite thing about this scene is probably the fact that the guards are just so assured in their confidence at this point. They could take the Batman. It's only because they have this trump card going on and they have guns.
I was gonna say they also have semi-automatic weapons or automatic weapons.
They're definitely automatic.
Yeah, you just heard a guy being a jerk to Batman again. Everybody think like the only way I can assume that they feel this way is that they haven't actually dealt with him before, if that makes any sense.
That actually does make a lot of sense, oddly enough.
Because the thing about Bats that you have to remember is that he is pants shittingly scary.
Yes.
Like that is his deal.
That is true.
That is his superpower, is appearing at random moments and scaring the frickin' shit out of you.
When you talked, you've one time talked about how there's like similarities between him and Big Daddy in the Kick-Ass universe, I think.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing about Bruce that's always been sort of interesting is that he was terrorized as a child, right?
Yeah.
A criminal scared the shit out of him and killed his parents. And part of all of his trauma is the idea that never again. A lot of superheroes have that idea. And what Mark Millar did with Big Daddy was create this guy who had sort of the same ethos. Except he was sort of the Punisher meets Batman.
Well, are we talking Big Daddy from the comics or Big Daddy from the TV show? Because they are, in fact...
You mean the film?
Yeah, because they are, in fact, surprisingly different
characters. They are very different. I am a huge fan of Nicolas Cage. Like, a huge fan.
Wonder where that'll land me. Did that get me where I wanted to be? I think it may have.
Nailed it. Nope.
No. But close.
I think, casting Nicolas Cage and Big Daddy was as Big Daddy and Kick-Ass was possibly one of the smartest things that...
Well, yeah, no one quite pulls off that not quite crazy, not quite sane, like Nicolas Cage.
It's true. God bless Nicolas Cage.
It's the greatest thing about Nicolas Cage.
Bees!
Yeah.
But it did make me think, because weird fact, Nicolas Cage was slated to play Superman once.
He was?
Yeah.
That would have been a disaster.
That would have been a disaster. But he gets to play Batman and
hilarious
Kick-Ass.
Disaster.
So it's fine. Because the thing about Big Daddy, and I actually am not... Mark Millar is not one of my favorite creators. Like, I appreciate what he does a lot, but it tends to get a little triggering for me, so I try and avoid it.
What's the right word for it? Rapey?
Oh yeah, rapey's a great word for it.
He has a go-to shock and awe value.
Yes, and there are several. Quite frankly, Frank Miller also does that.
He does it in a bit of a different way, though. If
that's true. I think part of it is that it's sort of Mark Millar always felt sort of like South Park meets Frank Miller a little bit to me.
Yeah, maybe that's a fair one.
And that's the thing is that I remember when I saw Kick-Ass for the first time. I was like, maybe I should try these comics again.
No.
And then I tried it again and I went,
are very different from the TV show.
Yes.
I've actually talked to a couple of people before. You either like the comics or you like the movie a lot. And I'm one of those people that actually can genuinely enjoy them for what they are, because I saw the movie before I saw the comic, and I can interpret it as this weird, way brutaler version of the movie, if that makes any sense. Like, there's a certain level of vision, if that makes any sense.
Well, I think the thing about as an adaptation is it can only do so much.
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of actually adaptation, one of the other Mark Millar properties that's really good job, team.
Yeah, finally got him.
That's
Main threat.
But the hostages are still in danger. So now we gotta save people.
Well, good for you. You remember about my alarms? He's here, you idiots. Stop him from getting to me. Anyone
Aw.
stop that man will automatically be entered into the Titan Enhancement Program.
These collars are very cool as a technique. Yeah, no, I think that the thing about Kick-Ass that I sort of loved, just from a world building standpoint, is that it is a world filled with Batman, filled with Batman-like people.
Oh, it's what we always wanted, which was Punisher meets Batman.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, though, is that like I can tell you, I'm not a fan of Punisher. Really,
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. I just think he's a little bit too much of his time for me. He's very dated.
I liked Punisher in controlled bursts, and it should be no surprise to anyone who's watching the other stuff on the channel that I'm a fan of the Punisher. He did this thing called war journals during like Civil War and some other things, and I think when Punisher's used sparingly and as a here's what a normal person armed with guns reaction to this horrible conflict might be, he becomes very interesting in a way that maybe other characters can't quite do, because he really is the only truly completely human villain, or not villain, but kind of
Anti-hero,
anti-hero
yeah.
in the Marvel universe. And that's saying something given how many anti-heroes exist in that universe.
Well, yeah, because it's a very interesting question in terms of, people love to say that Iron Man and Batman are sort of the Marvel equivalents, but they're not. I mean, personality-wise, not at all.
One will kill people, first off.
Yes, and because the other thing is that the irony of Tony Stark is like, yes, he's a billionaire. Yes, he has all this tech, but he also, had the billionaire playboy thing for Bruce Wayne is a cover.
Yeah.
It really is.
And Tony Stark's just
Tony Stark is that.
As the movie put it, I'm Iron Man. Yeah, that's Tony Stark.
Oh no. What is happening?
Rescuing.
Oh good, rescuing. I was worried.
Joker wanted the entrance to the Titan production plant guarded. I should pick up Harley's trail again so I can find it.